Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Vroom, vroom. Wait for those red lights to go out. Hey, welcome to another episode of KDM. We're racing to get this review out to you. Of course, I we must be talking about F1.
Formula
Uh,
One. Formula
Formula
One.
One the movie, and starring Brad Pitt, directed by Joseph, I believe it's Kaczynski,
Kaczynski. Yeah.
and it's hitting theaters this weekend, up on the big screen, big screens, IMAX, Dolby, every format you can think of, and we're here to talk about it with you right now. Joined always, she is the K of the KDM, my good friend and colleague, valued friend and valued colleague, Kit Bowen. Hi, Kit.
Hi, how is everyone?
How is everyone? I mean, if I'm lumped into the other one, oh, I'm moderately ducky. And I am the Dimitri part of the D, KDM, and movies. That's what the M stands for. And we will be talking about a movie this afternoon. So, Kit, we both saw um, this F1 this past week. What, as I always do, I always start off with the lovely Kit. What did you think about F1?
I had a great time with this. I had a feeling, I could see right away that it was going to be something I liked. I love, race cars. I love car chases. I love all that kind of stuff. So I knew I was going to get into it. Um, it definitely had that popcorn feel to it. Jerry Bruckheimer, like we said, he produced it, and that's his MO really is this kind of a film. But I think it was high. I think it was elevated, in my opinion, by Brad Pitt's performance. He plays this sort of. Actually, at one point, one character says, "You're not a has-been, you are a never was," kind of thing. So he plays this race car driver who, when he was young, was super cocky and was on his way up and has a horrible car crash that kind of curtails his shot to stardom in the racing world. So he kind of meanders about a bit in his life, but then he ends up coming back to it because he loves it so much to drive, and ends up being sort of a driver for hire. Wherever there's a racing team that needs him, he goes, he does it, and then he's out. He's like, I'm done. I don't have to do it anymore. However, when his old pal from back in the day, played by Javier Bardem, comes to him, Javier now is the owner of a, elite Formula One team with cars and everything, but they aren't getting very many prizes, so there's a question of whether it's going to last or not. So one last ditch effort kind of thing, he brings in asks Brad Pitt to come in. Sonny Hayes is the character's name. Asks him to come in and sort of help, get them either ahead or not, just basically one last ditch effort. Now, of course, he's paired up with a young, cocky driver, sort of like the way he was himself. Joshua Pierce, played by Damson Idris. Um, and, of course, he's sort of resentful for having Sonny come in, and there you got the mentor and that kind of stuff going on. But so yeah, I mean, I thought the character development was great. There was a good story through line. It's kind of an underdog sports movie in a way. We love those. I don't care how many times I see an underdog sports movie, you still get into it. Maybe they're gonna make it, but you don't know, it's always fun. It's fun. And this was not a true story. So this is not based on something that actually happened. But
Yeah.
still a lot of fun. And then also Carrie Condon, who I adore. And I had a chance to talk to her once for Banshees of Inisherin, and she's just fabulous. She's
Oh, okay.
fantastic. She gets to be Irish. She oftentimes
Mm.
Americans, but she got to keep her heritage in this one as like one of the first female car builders, I guess. I don't know what her official title was, I forgot, but she builds the cars, and of course, kind of has a thing with Brad Pitt. And who wouldn't? I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Man,
Like,
the man is
exactly.
unbelievably watchable and so handsome. And I think he's just getting better with age. My God, he just looks so good. And Harvey Bardem looked really good too. Yeah, so for me as a woman, there was enough wonderful eye candy to go along with all the action and fun that I was having. So the only criticism I might have is it felt a little long to me. Um, you know, there were some beats that I thought maybe they didn't need, like him quitting, coming back, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. That for me it felt a little long, so that's not good. But the final climactic race that happens, after this long tour that they do to a Formula One tour was just spectacular. And yeah, I had a great time. Great time. You?
I enjoyed it. It is a by the numbers, and it's a definition by the numbers formula, not just F1, but
Right.
formula story
Yeah.
that happens to work. It's good formula. It's formula done right. And it's definitely a crowd pleaser. It is, as you said, an underdog story. It's a story. It's Days of Thunder 2.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is Top Gun. It is like
Rocky.
exactly. Yeah, but Rocky Balboa. It's
Yeah.
an aging race car driver, trying to who's kind of lost his edge, and now
Right.
he's coming back to the sport that nearly killed him. Um, and look, you know, you know exactly where it's going to go.
Mhm.
I think what saves it is exactly what you say. I think the performances elevate this to make this very watchable and entertaining. Brad Pitt is fantastic. I mean, shades of Paul Newman for sure. And
Yeah.
Paul Newman had his racing movie, I believe, called Winning. And it is 2.5 hours. I don't,
A half an hour could have been shaved, I think.
yeah, I think I just don't exactly know where. I
Yeah.
wasn't
Right.
too in tune with I thought the ending, I was like,
Yeah.
well, okay. Like I didn't, I wasn't quite buying that. Um, but the Joseph Kaczynski has cemented a place as being a go-to set piece. Like he is a go-to director.
Yeah.
He knows how to direct a set piece. I mean, we have F1 racer, Formula One racing cars here. We had jets from Maverick, right? Top Gun
Right.
Maverick. He did light cycles in Tron Legacy, ships, spaceships, whatever, in Oblivion. This guy knows how to film a set piece.
Yep.
He knows how to coax very good performances, even if the material's not like super great. He
No.
knows how to get great
Yes.
performances out of his people, and
Yeah,
he
'cause, I
he
mean,
could tell.
this one you could see some of the beats coming, right? So there's a
Oh, are you
bit of,
kidding? It's like yes,
but
a
it was
hundred percent.
okay. I was okay with that. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
all right, I'm done.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yep. No, it reminded me. Look, it's Jerry Bruckheimer
Yeah.
produced this movie. May he continue to rest in peace. This was a movie that Jerry Bruckheimer would have done with Don Simpson, his producing partner of the 80s and early 90s.
Right.
This comes from the late 80s. Like
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
I'm not kidding. Could have been Days of Thunder too. And I just think that it works. The Kaczynski puts you in the driver's
That's
seat.
always going to be great.
Okay. And I saw this in IMAX, and he used IMAX cameras for this, and
I
it
tried.
was
I tried.
it
I couldn't
was
get a ticket.
tremendous.
So I saw it in Dolby, which is still pretty good, but
Dolby, yeah, I mean, come on, Dolby, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but that that
But I
that's
think IMAX would be a
that's
great
fair.
way to see this movie. 100%.
100%. And Brad Pitt, it's solidified as a movie star.
I know.
You know, I mean,
The dying
he
breed. I
keeps
think Tom Cruise, I mean, it's a dying breed, right?
it's a very dying breed, and I think Brad Pitt is able to get away with his self-assurance, his self-confidence without being cocky.
Yeah.
I never once, you know, and this is a great dichotomy, I think that's shown in this movie. Brad Pitt aging, right? He's the older, and again, we've seen this in movies like Bull Durham,
Oh, yeah.
right? Where Kevin Costner he has to train the rookie
Yeah.
into the big leagues, and he never, you know, he was in the big leagues for like a minute.
Yeah.
This is the same thing here, and Pitt's cockiness. I mean, he's a very confident in himself,
Right.
but I never thought he came off as being cocky, where the younger driver also has confidence in himself. He came out as being kind of a dick.
Kind of a dick.
Um, yep, kind of a dick. But, you know, I want to point out too, Javier Bardem was fantastic in this,
Thought he was
uh,
great.
as as was Kerry Condon. I thought she was very good in this as well. But I also have to point out Sarah Niles, who played the mother to Joshua Pierce.
Yeah.
She was great. She was in what's the Jason Sudeikis show? Uh,
Um,
the
Shrink?
psychologist. Huh?
Was she in Shrinking?
No, 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 no. No, no, no. The one with
Oh, right. The other one.
Jason
Ted
Sudeikis.
Lasso. Ted Lasso. Yeah. Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. She was in Ted Lasso as his psychologist, as his therapist. She's very good. I liked seeing her, and she was just really good. The movie works, you know, and even though you know where it's going to go, how it's going to play, the only thing that was missing was because it had everything. Like somebody's going to end up in a hospital. There's going to be a bad crash. The only thing that didn't happen was nobody died.
Nobody died.
So
Nobody died.
nobody died. I was
I
brought
actually
back
really kind of
to
liked, I really liked the, because you know that he and Carrie Condon were gonna, hook up.
yes,
But I
yes,
like the way it actually happened, when
same here.
she sets it up with these two trying to get the two drivers to be on the same page.
Right.
She says, okay, we're gonna play poker and whoever wins gets to be first driver. And if, whatever, and then uh, they're both on board, so they play, and then it ends up that the young guy he wins, and so he walks off to go partying. He's all high
He
on,
sort of wins.
except for he really didn't win, that Brad let him win.
Eh,
And that her little look on her face when he reveals that he was actually the winner and he let the other guy win, she just went, okay, that's it, I'm done. And then immediately
yeah,
cut to them kissing and totally
yeah,
going for it. So I thought
yeah,
her little reaction was the
yeah,
best. She just went,
yeah.
okay, I'm done.
I mean, and again, it was like as soon as it played out, and he had his pair of sixes, and uh, uh, Sonny Hayes like just folded. I was like,
Yeah.
no, he had a much
He
better
had
hand,
it
and
better, yeah.
he had a pair of kings going on. Like you knew that he gave it to him, and that's the other thing too. And again, I compare it to Bull Durham because when the older character is actually trying to help the younger person, and the younger person is like, you know, I'm not.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie, he really was trying to
Oh, he
help
was a
him
team.
out in
Yeah, he
ways.
was a team player. That's what
Yeah,
he had basically come down to it where he knew, he didn't necessarily have to be the star. He just wanted to drive and race and be part of it.
mhm.
Of course he does want to win, obviously, but at the same time, some of the tactics he was doing, they kind of were like, what's he trying to do? And then she realized they all realized, oh,
They all realize.
this is a ploy, or this is a
Yeah,
he's messing with me.
yeah, he's like
Kind of
helping.
like the
Yeah,
hustler, when you play horrible pool for the first, few games, and then all of a sudden you come back in, and the people you're playing are like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. And then bam, you
it,
know what you're doing. That's kind of how I,
it, yeah, and well, it's funny that you mentioned The Hustler because that's the another movie I thought about was The Color of Money.
yes.
Again, it's the older person coming back
Yeah.
to a sport that he was destroyed in or almost destroyed in. And here comes the younger, cocky guy. In that case, it was Tom Cruise.
Right.
And but and what it leads up to that near perfect ending
Yes.
of, they're at a tournament and Paul Newman's like, I'm back.
Right.
Boom, and he breaks. This is the same thing, except for me, it didn't. It almost had the I'm back moment until the very end of the movie. And I'm like, it's like you proved yourself, and there was a great conversation between Javier Bardem's character and Sonny Hayes. And Javier Bardem, Ruben Cervantes, Apex Motors, or Apex, that's the name of the racing team. It was like, why did you do this? Like, when he finds out the seriousness of his injuries from 30 years prior, he's like, why do you do this? And he's like, because I really thought that I could be number one. I wanted to fly. It's really good dialogue. And again, it's one of those things that, you have this moment, you have this beat, it works really well, get you further into it. Every race, even the ones in which they lost badly, was just filmed. It was just like it literally puts you in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
I was reminded of now I forget the name of the movie, came out a few years ago, Gran Turismo.
Oh,
Gran
also,
Turismo,
I thought of Ford versus Ferrari, actually. I was thinking of that one.
but yeah, and that's more of a true story. But I thought,
That was a
I
great
mean,
racing movie too. Christian Bale
I
did
thought it was
a fantastic
okay.
job. I love.
Christian Bale was good. I don't know. For an underdog movie, I really did enjoy Gran Turismo,
Yeah,
and
that was
also
good too. Yeah.
not know that that was a true story
Yep.
either. And the only thing that that movie was missing was the likes of a Brad Pitt,
Right.
and it really does go to show you on certain films what a talent can bring to the picture. And in this one, let's face it, you had three, but Brad Pitt's the big star. I think he elevated Javier Bardem's performance because you're really rooting for him too, because it's said
Yes.
many times that if he's about to lose it all, and he was in Hawk for like over $350 million or some obscene amount of money. When the performances elevate like that, it's just hard to take your eyes off the screen, and Carrie Condon was, I thought she was fantastic.
Yeah.
The kid was fantastic.
Yeah.
It
It was
makes
all good. It just makes
Formula
it
go
better
down.
when the performances are good, and you're really invested. You're invested. They bring out that.
You
I
are.
hear a statistic. I heard this statistic. Actually, I didn't hear it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Today,
Go ahead.
F1, like an
Yeah,
F1
yeah,
team. Do you know how much
yeah.
it costs to run an entire team with the cars and everything for a year?
For 1 year, I'm gonna say it's like for the budget of this movie, $200 million.
$1 billion.
Wow. Wow.
And that's including
Wow.
cars. So the cars to build the cars and do that, that's like they're like $350 million each.
Yeah. That's crazy. Wait, did
$1
you say
billion
350
dollars
million? Did you say 350 million each for the cars?
car, just a
350?
car, one car costs $350
Wow.
million dollars. That's
And I mean, F1 has been around for a long time.
I don't get all
However,
I don't understand it. I know that there's
well,
the F1, those are the high tech racers, right? The sleek, like they look like,
those are those are the cars that were in this
right,
movie.
okay.
They're very sleek, they can be very light. Um, this sport
And
is
what's
within
the
the
other
past
one? What's the other one?
NASCAR. You're thinking
NASCAR.
NASCAR.
Yeah, and those are more just traditional.
That's like a box car kind of a racer. That those cars too have very specific, well, specifications that they have to be like from a length to this to that. I'm not, I don't know the specifications to Formula One. However, within the past 5 years, What I do know is that it's gained in popularity. In fact, so NASCAR used to be like from a rating standpoint, like on Fox. It's still huge, don't get me wrong, but I think for the first time within maybe the past year, there was one Formula One race that was like it actually beat a NASCAR from a ratings perspective. Listen, my best friend from back east, his son, his kid, Keenan, I'll say his name. He's an F1 fan. Like he and his friends play F1 video games, and he talks about how one of his friends has one of those moving chairs that's on a thing, and they drive it.
Wow.
And I think from a Gran Turismo standpoint, if you notice the steering wheel, it kind of looked like a
Yeah,
PlayStation
it did.
controller. It's kind of
Did.
crazy, right? Yeah, and
Really
I'm like, well,
did.
no wonder. Yeah, I know, and I'm like, well, no wonder why. Like they didn't. I didn't see that in Gran Turismo, but I saw it here. Like, wow,
Yeah, I thought so too.
it
Yeah,
was
I
crazy.
mean, I
But
know race car driving is a huge video gaming thing.
huge.
It's just gigantic, but yeah,
And now they like Vegas. They have their race in Vegas, which they went to Vegas, and they shut down the streets, as you know, and they do the Formula One racing all through there, and it's kind of crazy. And I want to see now if the popularity will translate into a little more box office and vice versa. Will this movie help gain more in the popularity for Formula One racing? Will it get more people into it? Look, I had a great time.
me too.
I had a blast watching this, as formulaic as it is.
Yeah, I mean, I
Like
would
I
give
said,
it a solid 4 stars, not quite five. Or
same,
yeah, 4 stars.
same here. Solid four.
Yeah.
Solid 4 stars. Look, we're I think this has been a fun summer. I've said this before. We're going into 4th of July weekend.
And
And man, oh
Jurassic
man, is Chevitz,
World.
huh? Yeah, yeah. Well, I gotta tell you, I think it's going to be one of the bigger 4th of July weekends. In part to F1, I think
Yeah.
it's going to have a solid weekend. You've got Jurassic World Rebirth, which we'll talk about. I did get to see that. I'm actually in an AMC video about it.
You
Um,
are.
you know, yeah, and it's I think we got Jurassic World, we got F1, we've got Megan 2.0, we still have How to Train Your Dragon. There are so many movies out there for everybody,
Yeah.
for everybody. There's a great variety, and I think we're going to have a very solid. I mean, there's going to be fireworks at movie theaters, grab your
I'm
popcorn because
excited.
there's some very fun entertainment. And these don't necessarily have to be Academy Award nominated or movies. All they need to be right now is fun.
Yep.
And F1, the F stands for fun. It is fun formula.
Yeah.
So,
It's good.
yeah.
It's a good time. So yeah, let us know what you think as well. And hopefully you'll have a chance to see the film. But you know how excited you are for the summer. To tell us some of the things
Yeah.
you're looking forward to still to come. Subscribe and like and give us
Yes.
stars and I don't know whatever else you have to do, but
I wanted to ask you, you saw it in Dolby, right? IMAX. Didn't it sound amazing?
yes.
Like with a like you
Yes.
felt the rumble kind of,
Good stuff. Yeah. It
That
is.
is
Yeah, you do. You're really right there. I mean, the filming technology these days just make these movies 10 times more better than they used to be. But even back in the day, racing movies were fun to watch. So certainly they've improved on it, but the feeling's still the same. So it's all good.
they've come a long way since Cannonball Run.
What's the Steve McQueen one? I forgot the name of that one. That was also a big one. Remember he was a race
Uh, big
driver?
one. Yeah,
I
let's look it up. You're not talking, I mean, Bullet has one of the best
Yes. I'm not talking
car chase
car chases.
scenes. Steve,
Funny.
oh,
I know he,
Steve, he did do a racing one. Steve McQueen race movie. Oh, Le Mans.
Right, right, right.
This was in Le Mans, yeah.
He was a big aficionado on race car driving too.
Paul Newman was, because it was Paul Newman who got Tom Cruise
Yep.
into racing. Um, so yeah, it's crazy, and racing's been a part of our movie going culture for quite some time
Yep.
now, and it continues to go and it continues to vroom onto movie screens. And this one is a really great one to catch. See it on as big a screen as possible on the
Absolutely.
best premium format if you can. You won't be disappointed, and you'll come out, just lighten up on that gas pedal on your way home. That's all I have to say.
It's true. All right. See everyone next time. I guess next week we're going to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth.
Oh,
Excited about that. So stay tuned. We'll be back.
stay tuned. Bye.